Episode 40 of the daily vlog. I am trying to ship out some things on eBay today. I was late getting eBay stuff out because of the aforementioned thieves that stole my money out of my PayPal account. That's been reimbursed, so I'm a week and a half late of shipping things. So just printed out all the shipping labels of things I haven't shipped. So if you have something from me that you bought on eBay, that's coming. And I'm trying to juggle. I just got another small job on a Transformers thing, helping out with a project there. That was passed on to me by a studio mate who couldn't work it in. So, and on top of G.I. Joe and other things. So, that's kind of the you always feel like you want to catch up, but then you realize that's pretty much your life is always a bunch of little things here and there trying to juggle and do all that. So, in the middle of all of that, and I just mentioned, Studio Mate. I thought I'd talk a little bit today about comic book studios and the benefits and the pros and cons of being in studio. I am. You might see me if you see me at a convention. You'll see that I'm set up with Tsunami Studios, and on the convention videos, there's nice blue tablecloths and signs that say Tsunami Studios. And Tsunami Studios, people always come up and they'll say they'll either outright ask what is Tsunami Studios, or it'll be an artist asking to submit things because they think we're a publisher. It used to be 15 years ago or so, 10, 15 years ago, you walk around a comic convention in Artist Alley, you would see a lot of comic book studios, like Gaijin Studios out of Atlanta with Stelfreeze and Adam Hughes and all them. There was Jolly Roger Studio. I don't think they're around anymore. I don't know. I haven't seen that in a long time. There was a bunch of them. Tsunami Studios was one. And there seemed to be kind of the era, the decade of the studio. Now, our particular studio, I've been in it for 10 years almost. It's been around for, at this point, probably 20 or more. But it originally started as a group of artists that lived around the Greensboro, North Carolina area, which there's quite a few around here for some reason that worked, Marvel and DC and other just local artists. And they got a space in a building downtown, so it was actual physical studio space, and everybody just kind of it was a way to get out of the house and have some community. And I joined the studio by renting. I was hanging around and got to know the guys, and then I started renting space and joined the studio. So I was physically for about 5 years working every day in the studio, and the benefit of that was I learned an awful lot I learned how to ink specifically, and I learned how to, I got a lot of started getting freelance work there, and kind of breaking in and just learning, kind of watching the people who had been working in there for a while. So that was one benefit. The other benefit was, and still is, because we closed that down, it just, things kind of go through life cycles, and we all work at home now, but we're still set up at Tsunami Studios, which at this point is pretty much we just meet up at shows and kind of that community and things. And every once in a while, a lot of work kind of gets passed around. So if someone can't do something and they need help, we pull in, hey, can you come in and do this job? Or can you help me out with this or whatever? So, but primarily, excuse me, it's more the community of setting up at a show. One of the things I like about our new setup is when you're walking through Artist Alley, I think the large single color blue draws people's eye at least to it. The Essential Sequential is another one where I don't know if it's a studio or art dealer umbrella. I'm not sure what it is, but you'll see it's purple. Like there's a lot of purple there, but there when you see the studios, it's probably if you're at a convention, you see a studio. It's probably just a bunch of artists that kind of get together for that camaraderie, community. Maybe they pass work back and forth if they get a bind, but it's essentially freelancers, independent. It's not a publishing house thing. So those are the pros. The cons I found, as the whole studio convention dynamic changes and Tsunami Studios is still around, I have noticed that on certain, because we will book conventions that we always go to, and they'll list as Tsunami Studios. Well, Tsunami Studios as an entity isn't really, I mean, it's been around a long time, but it's not like exactly people necessarily know what that is. Even people that are familiar with the names in the studio may not really understand. So when we get booked or invited or whatever to a comic convention on the website, sometimes you'll see all the individual guests, and then you'll see our logo, Tsunami Studios, but no names. And that's kind of a problem promotion-wise, because the studio is just there to act as an umbrella for the freelance artist, but what you're promoting as a business is yourselves. So one of the big hiccups, I think I mentioned this to a couple of the guys over dinner at the last convention, that we just, one of the things we have to do is make sure that, hey, when we go up on a website, can we just list our names? When we set up at the show, we'll have our little entity with our names in the blue and the Tsunami Studios, but you just kind of have to be aware of how that gets perceived and marketed and stuff, because it can be kind of confusing. So with that said, that's kind of just what's going on if you see a studio, especially our studio, at a convention. Will be the blue and have the Tsunami Studio logo, and all our banners have our image and our name, but the little logo. But it's pretty much a group of guys that, for the most part, with one or two exceptions, all live in the same area, and was just kind of a, being a freelance artist can be a lonely thing. So a little bit of community there, but it's not a publishing house or a thing. So with that, I should get back to work. Hey, I noticed so on YouTube, because I'm putting these on YouTube and posting them on Facebook separately, but YouTube, I noticed, demonetized one of my videos, and I just threw a little ad up just to, if something catches on, maybe I can get a little income from it. But I did notice the one that was listed, working when you don't feel like it, got demonetized because content may not be appropriate for advertisers. No idea why. I clicked the thing for do another review of it. I don't know if that's automated, or they don't give you any kind of input as to why, unless that advertisers want people not to work when they don't feel like it. I don't know. So just one of those little things as I'm doing this, figuring out YouTube, because this whole YouTube thing, doing the vlog, but behind the scenes, like setting it up and the tags, and I've changed my thumbnails and learning how to format the, titles and stuff is new, and it's kind of my new little project. I think tomorrow, one of the things, I may talk about the blog, because the blog for an artist is, you've got so many different outlets, but we'll talk about that tomorrow, because that's a whole nother thing. So I got to get back to work. I'll see y'all tomorrow.